Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the weekly kickoff for Monday, the 29th of January. All right, now the first week of the new month, we do have the non-farm payrolls on Friday, right? Very exciting. But more importantly, we have the Fed interest rate decision. We've got the Bank of England interest rate decision and a bunch of inflation numbers. So the week is really shaping up to be a bit of a blockbuster. Now, when it comes to sort of just working out what's going on in the market, okay, if you've got Metastock, it'll be quite easy for you to find out what the theme is. The US dollar slips after inflation data, but the Fed meeting looms next week, right? So there's some inflation numbers that came out, the PCE price index on Friday was slightly higher, but the data is trending lower. Now, that does a whole range of things for us because it puts a bit of a spanner in the works as to what the Fed might be going or might do, right? So we had a few Fed officials last week, non-voting ones, who were sort of saying, you know what, we got to wait before we start cutting rates. But until you hear it from Jerome Powell, anything's up for grabs. Now, the great thing about the week coming up is the dollar index, well, euro, we've got great technical setups across the board here, right? On the sort of major dollar pairs, the dollar index, dollar Swiss, like support and resistance, euro is trending lower. Sterling is sort of still grinding away, trading sideways. Aussie and Kiwi found a little bit more of a base, but under pressure. And dollar CAD, well, it's sort of trading sideways in a slightly larger range. And if anything, I'd be just adjusting that trend line to where it was. So you can sort of see very clearly across the board what's happening. Dollar yen, well, not a lot going on in dollar yen. It's more of a dollar trade at this stage. So just hang on to your hats there. But when you want to plan your week, right, just have a look across the board here. What is coming out now? Tuesday, you can clearly see the high impacting numbers there are euro based, right? So euro crosses are going to be in play on Tuesday. Wednesday, obviously the Aussie inflation numbers very important, as are the German ones. But the Fed interest rate decision will be the key to the market's focus this week. Obviously, I forgot about the Chinese PMI numbers, important for the Aussie and Kiwi. We should get some answers from the Fed, right? Hopefully we do. And then that sets us up for the rest of the week. And that runs us into the Eurozone inflation numbers, the Bank of England interest rate decision. Now, don't forget, these two central banks, they aren't expected to raise rates. So it's going to come down to their statement and potentially comments, you know, from their press conferences. And then last but not least, that runs into the US non-farm payrolls. Now, the good thing about the payrolls, right, we're going to get some very clear answers from the Fed, and especially in their press conference, as to what they think the dollar's going to be doing. The first big number off the cab rank is the non-farm payroll. So if they say, look, you know what, we haven't changed rates, but you know what, if employment falls or inflation falls, you know, we're getting closer. And that's where the non-farm payrolls this week really comes into play, because it comes on the heels, closely on the heels of the Fed interest rate decision and press conference. Now, before you sort of think about, okay, that's great, I've got all these big numbers, just come back and have a look, because there's a lot of second tier numbers coming out this week, which will provide us with extra answers and potentially momentum on these trading instruments. So as I scroll down through the main numbers here, okay, ones that I would be looking at, the S&P Case-Shiller home price numbers, important numbers for the US. You come down, obviously you got the ANZ business confidence numbers out of New Zealand, a bunch of inflation numbers there out of Australia, and then you got the Chinese manufacturing data. So you look at Wednesday, it's a great opportunity for those traders in Australasia to rip in to the definitely to the Aussie and Kiwi on that regard. And then you scroll down a little bit further, we start to get a lot more detail. You come into Wednesday's trading into Europe and North America. We've got a lot of second tier numbers here: employment, inflation, retail sales in Germany. You've got, or leading into the Fed, I don't think a lot's going to happen, but we do have some employment cost numbers, UK nationwide house prices. And once again, you scroll down into Thursday, we're getting into the thick of it here, obviously, with the Bank of England. Okay. European inflation numbers, hugely important. Christine Lagarde speaking. And then you also got the ISM manufacturing numbers there on Thursday. And like, there's so much that could be coming out. All trading sessions are going to be pretty active. And then obviously you come into Friday, we've got the non-farm payrolls, right? So there's a lot to play for. Don't get yourself all worked up. You know, what I would be doing at the start of the week is really sort of mapping out the major momentum drivers that are coming out, right? They're the top tier numbers. Now, as we go through the week, I will be covering, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll go a little bit deeper into those second tier numbers and sort of work out where the best trading instruments are. And that should lead us into basically identifying the best setups. You combine the momentum with the technical sort of perspective, and then you've got good trading opportunities. As I said, like dollar Swiss, sterling, support and resistance both sides, dollar yen also. We may see dollar yen start to move. If the Fed starts talking a little bit dovish, which I think might be a bit early for them to be doing that, but we will start to see dollar yen shift as well. Don't forget Aussie and Kiwi with the local data plus the Chinese numbers, big potential opportunities there as well. A lot of the Chinese numbers have been falling as well as the Aussie and Kiwi numbers. So we may see a continued drive lower. And you combine that with, you know, maybe a sort of neutral Fed. Well, the dollar should rally and we could see some big moves across the board. Euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi, CAD, maybe even the Swiss. All right, guys. So pretty big week coming up. Nothing really that much to get excited about on a Monday. If anything, I mean, you might be sort of sitting there thinking, well, I'll have a look at the unemployment rate from Japan. That's probably one number that doesn't change at all, right? Structurally, Japan is different. Unemployment, well, that's probably one of their big problems. But anyway, gear up for the week. We've got lots coming out, and look out for those trade ideas Tuesday through Friday. There should be quite a few. Good luck, guys. All the best. Cheerio.